I call the Honourable Chris Tremaine.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Well, we've just witnessed the first election debate for the seat of Te Atatu between Mr Phil Twyford and Mr Alfred Ngaro. And in that debate, we did see some anger from Mr Twyford. So I think, given that he's actually standing in a seat that is very much, for the workers' seat, and we're going to pitch an electrician, a craftsman versus an administrator. It's going to be a very interesting battle in Te Atatu. But, Mr Chair, I want to focus on the positive work of this government. Very much want to focus on the positive work of this government.
Order.
In particular,
Order.
Housing New Zealand.
I'm sorry to interrupt the honourable member. There are members interjecting on each other who don't have the floor, and it's not permitted in the People's House. I call the honourable member Chris Tremaine.
Mr Chairman, Housing New Zealand provides decent, affordable housing to those who are most in need and when they need it. It owns or manages 69,000 properties across New Zealand, housing around 200,000 people. And today, I want to acknowledge three people who've worked their guts out over the last 9 years for my electorate in Napier. They're sitting in the gallery there tonight. Tanya Wright, Vicky Sanders and Sharon Coates, who've been my electorate agents over the last 9 years. Unfortunately, they can't come to my valedictory in a few weeks' time, but I just want to acknowledge the massive work that they have done over the last 9 years throughout that period. And much of that work, Mr Chair, has been done with Housing New Zealand, and actually serving people who've walked in our door, irrespective of who they've voted for. That's not a question we ask when you walk into my electorate office. Serving those people, helping them when they're in tough situations in a time of need, and working very closely, I might add, with the fine people at Housing New Zealand. And they've had to deal with many of the changes that the ministers or this government has instituted over the last 3 or 4 years. And there have been some necessary things that we've needed to do with Housing New Zealand. Because the facts are pretty simple. Three things. The demographics have changed significantly in terms of the requirements. What is required in terms of the houses and the composition of those houses. Families have changed in terms of what is required. So what we've been supplying in Housing New Zealand hasn't stacked up with those demographics. Secondly, the quality of the housing has been, in some cases, and in my suburbs of the likes of Maraenui, have been appalling. And if you look at the one-up, one-down homes, side-by-side homes that sit in that suburb, they are, or have been, and many of them which have not been pulled down, still remain cold, wet, damp and mouldy. And they are a disgrace, quite frankly, and need to go and be changed. And the third thing, which has been the tough call, which many in the House have struggled with, but we believe that we need to get on top of it, is some of the outcomes that proliferate around the cluster of those those homes that are together, that are wet and damp and terrible. Some of those outcomes aren't pretty. Many in the likes of Maraenui have very strong gang affiliations, and that perpetuates all sorts of outcomes, including low unemployment, low aspiration, high crime, even amongst and within the community themselves. In fact, Mr Chair, some of the highest crime levels in the country occur within, and most repetitively, within the lower socio-demographic parts of the community. So, look, we make no excuses for looking to change and to make changes. We're doing that. And I've got to say, Mr Chair, I was proud just a few weeks ago to take the Prime Minister into Maraenui and to take him to 7 new homes that have been built in that wonderful suburb. 7 brand new homes, and they pitched right beside some of the one-up, one-down homes, the cold, wet and damp ones, which are now fortunately not occupied any longer because they don't deserve to house people. But next door, 7 new homes, and Mr Chair, they achieved a 6-star rating. And to put that into perspective, a new home, just standard home built on current standards, gets a 3 to 4 star. The homes, the one-up, one-downs next door only achieve a 1 star. They are a recipe for disaster, for illness, for sickness, for bad health, for all sorts of things. Next door, now these 7 homes, which is the kind of stock that Housing New Zealand is now out there and growing around the country, double glazing on the windows. Insulation, massive. I went and actually visited them as they were being built. Massive insulation on the ceiling. Mr. Chair, this is an outstanding outcome, and I'm proud to have been part of that change.
The question is that vote housing stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion will please say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that vote conservation stand part of the schedules. Have I jumped, have I, again? Communications. Oh, communications. The question now is that vote communications stand part of the schedules. Those of that opinion, please say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that vote environment stand part of the schedules.
Mr. Chair.
I call the honourable member Moana